success. Now, our next session. We all know, we can see around us that the world is being disruptive with respect to mobility. Electronic vehicles are the new norm. Driverless cars and trucks will become the new norm. There is a plethora of data coming online from infrastructure and all around us that's feeding into insurance. And it begs the question, what will insurance do about all of this? What are the opportunities and the threats? And how can insurance evolve to make sure that it's there for us in this new era of mobility? And I can't think of anyone better on the planet to tell us that story than Andrew Rose, president of OnStar Insurance, a subsidiary of General Motors and GM Financial. He is recognized as a thought leader and an innovator in the insurtech space. He started his career at Progressive Insurance, and then he transitioned into a leadership role into Bank of America. He became founder and CEO of Elephant Insurance and went on to become CEO of Compare.com. Please join me in giving a warm Connections welcome to Andrew Rose.
Good to see you. Good morning. Thank you, Brian, for that kind introduction. I'd like to start today with a story. The morning was cool, not unlike today, but the promise of a hot day was still there. The sounds of frogs and crickets were subsiding, replaced by birds in trees near and far. The smell of day-old grass clippings hung in the air as 10 friends tried to exit a house quietly. Not easy for a group of teenagers. They piled into 3 vehicles, bracing for the long journey that lay ahead. The sun rose high in the sky as those trio of vehicles drove south across 4 states, swapping positions as they went. After 5 hours, the interstate gave way to a 2-lane road where the soft-top Suzuki Jeep held middle position from a Subaru in the lead and a GMC truck in the rear. Jokes, spawning laughter, competed with yawns resulting from the abbreviated night of sleep achieved just hours before. Their destination was only 2 hours away, the beach. Off to the left, in the sky, a Cessna was flying low on the horizon, preparing to land at an airfield nearby. The plane stood in sharp contrast to the bright blue skies above and the dark green evergreens below. As the wings of that plane dipped below the tree line, the driver of the GMC truck returned their eyes and their attention to the road. Just then realizing the vehicles in front of them in their convoy were stopped for a vehicle turning left in the road ahead. The brakes were hit. The wheel was jerked. Too late. The GMC truck slammed into the back of the Suzuki at 50 miles an hour. The Suzuki was launched into the air, flipping as it went. The force of the crash ejected the 2 backseat occupants out of the vehicle and pushed the back seat under the front seat. The Jettison duo flew through the air, eventually landing on the road and skidded into a ditch at the edge of the roadway. The truck then swerved into the other lane, hit a red SUV coming in the opposite direction, swerved back, and hit the Subaru that was leading the convoy, injuring all the occupants. In total, 4 vehicles and 11 people were involved in that accident on a rural South Carolina road. Emergency services were called in from the surrounding counties. The road was closed for hours. one of the people thrown from that Suzuki Jeep found in that muddy, pine needle-strewn ditch was me. Everyone survived. There were, surprisingly, miraculously, no fatalities in that accident. The year was 1992. There were no ADAS features, advanced driving systems in these vehicles. The term distracted driving, not part of the vernacular. By strange coincidence, the lack of a backseat seatbelt saved my life. 31 years later, after a crash that could have taken my life, I got the call no parent ever wants to get. My middle daughter had been in a car accident. Ooh, got me. Thankfully, she was in a modern, safety-equipped GM vehicle, Chevy Bolt EUV. The car was totaled in that accident, but she walked away completely uninjured, without a scratch. I didn't know it 30 years ago, but I was destined for the car and car insurance business. I want to make the roads safer, reduce distracted driving, and make insurance better overall. GM and OnStar Insurance were the perfect match to do this. Allow me to explain. GM is changing because the world around us is changing. How we dine, how we travel, how we shop, work, how people and goods move. A century ago, cars and trucks gave people freedom, changing their lives and the world. But with this freedom came crashes, environmental issues, and traffic jams. Today, we have a unique opportunity to help reduce and even eliminate these effects. It's why GM is transforming into an electric, autonomous, software-defined vehicle company. It's why GM envisions a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. Speaking of crashes, every year around the world, 1.2 million people die in car crashes. Each a parent or grandparent, sister or brother, son or daughter, or a friend. Human error causes 90% of these accidents. We can save lives today with advanced safety technologies, and eventually with self-driving vehicles, try to achieve that zero crashes goal. The research done by the AAA Foundation estimates that we could prevent 30 million crashes, 10 million injuries, and 250 million deaths over the next 30 years with existing advanced driving technology. This is obviously huge for the world, huge for the insurance industry. Zero accidents is still likely decades away, but we can make progress now. GM's mission is to pioneer the innovations that move and connect people to what matters. That comes from GM's rich heritage of innovation, viewing things not as they are, but as they can be. To understand where we're going, it's helpful to see where we've been. GM developed the first electric starters, the first automatic transmission, the first airbags. GM helped with the first moon missions, hopes to help with the next ones. Innovation is in our DNA. Then there's OnStar from General Motors as well, the first connected vehicle technology. For more than 25 years, OnStar has responded to 1.5 billion driver requests. And in a single day, 225,000 calls. Amazing. All of this is how we claimed industry leadership a century ago and how we're going to reinvent and win with EVs today. With our Ultium EV platform as the backbone, we expect we'll have the capacity for 1 million EVs later this decade. EVs are here now, and they're going to be an even bigger part of the future. Beyond just electric, our vehicles will be offered with Super Cruise. I have this on my vehicles. It's amazing. Game-changing, hands-free driver assistance system. It's available now on 400,000 miles in North America. It's going to be followed up by Super Cruise, by Ultra Cruise, which will cover 95% of all driving situations. Fantastic tech. These are exciting times at General Motors as we execute a transformation that will make the world safer and better for future generations. And OnStar Insurance is another big opportunity for General Motors in this transition. Nearly a century ago, 1925 to be exact, GM entered the insurance industry as Motors Insurance Company. Many of you will remember it as GMAC Insurance. The transition to an EV fleet, along with other strategic synergies, offered an opportunity for General Motors to re-explore insurance. And this year, GM returned as an auto insurer as OnStar Insurance. Now, it was exciting. As an insurance person, I thought it was quite exciting to get back into insurance. But let me tell you, it's hard to compete against a Hummer, a Lyriq, a Celestiq, a Tahoe, etc. In fact, we can all probably a bit begrudgingly admit that insurance is not the most glamorous product category. And our friends at Instagram make this point painfully clear. When you see the difference between #CarLove, 2.5 million likes, and #InsuranceLove. Now, we can change this, okay? We can change this. We can all do better. We will change insurance from just a necessity to something that people can engage with, just like they do with their rings and step counters on their watch. We can add value to their journeys with safety message. Imagine this, you're drowsy driving and you get an alert from your insurance company in your car saying, "Free coffee from us at the next exit." Imagine getting a reward or a badge for 25 perfect trips. We can do this. We can help them avoid and potentially eliminate accidents, making the roads safer. Insurance would no longer just be about claims. We can make them love their insurance company. Now, as insurers, we're all bracing for EVs. The underlying technology, the batteries, the software platforms, et cetera, of EV is different from the ICE, their gas-fueled counterparts, internal combustion engine counterparts. Ask any of your pricers, ask any of your claims adjusters, they'll tell you. As GM, as the manufacturer, we have unique insight into the insurance needs of these vehicles. Hence, OnStar Insurance. Hence, Insurance Evolved. Now, you read stories about EVs being totaled left and right, and that insurers and repairers just don't know what to do with them. Has it happened? Of course. My own EV was totaled. But those incidents are actually further and fewer between. For example, Matt Moore, SVP of HILDI, the Highway Loss Data Institute, says that an apples-to-apples studies proves that electric tech is not the culprit for burdensome repair costs. In reality, gas or electric, the cost of making any late model car good as new has soared 30% in the last 3 years. The average repairable collision is going to top $5,000 this year. And while EVs do rack up bigger repair bills than their average gasoline model comparison, that's a universe that includes lots of older economy cars. When they're compared against their comparable ICE of the same model year, very, very similar. One financial calculation, however, may lead insurers to total certain EVs more often. They're worth twice as much as their ICE equivalents at salvage auctions, a function of a huge secondary market for those batteries and those motors. And now, while EVs are an ever-growing portion of our new vehicle sales, the vast majority of the car park is and will remain internal combustion for the foreseeable future. As such, our insurance needs need to satisfy all vehicles, GM, non-GM, ICE, and EV. With our knowledge of EVs is obviously an advantage. We can leverage other advantages that GM has to deliver that incredible insurance experience. Hashtag insurance love. I'm working on it. We can get that to 1,000 by the time we leave here today. I'm just telling you. First, we have access to customers at relevant vehicle-related life events. When they're shopping, when they're buying, when they own the vehicle, during the servicing experiences. But maybe even more important, we have access to them in the vehicle. And on that mobile app, multiple times a day. This means we don't need to advertise. We can return that cost back to the consumer as savings or as value for the very safest drivers. Speaking of the safest drivers, that brings us to a second significant advantage. We're all in the midst of a telematics revolution. Or maybe we should call it evolution, as 20 years ago when I was at Progressive, we were working on telematics then. Data capture went from the dongles to the mobile phones, now directly to connected car data. Connected car data, always with the customer's consent, requires no additional hardware, no additional software, and offers great data fidelity and an incredible reservoir of insights. We can use it to identify the very safest drivers and reward them with exceptionally good prices. For those that could improve or want cheaper prices, we can share ideas on how they can be a safer driver. Again, always with their consent. This same connected car data, as well as the broader GM ecosystem, should allow us to deliver an unparalleled experience. Again, hashtag insurance love. Imagine, should you get into an accident, we can know about it instantly. Dispatching first responders for OnStar subscribers with knowledge of where the most severely injured person is. Thankfully, the vast majority of accidents are not that severe. They don't have those people hurt in the car. But that means that much of the pain comes from the claims process. We can improve, if not eventually fix that. We can understand from the sensors on the cars, on these modern vehicles, what might be damaged. Order those parts immediately. Schedule the repair at their selected repair shop. These actions can reduce cycle time and follow-on claims supplements. If the vehicle is determined to be totaled via those sensors, we can let the customer know at the appropriate time and offer them a new GM vehicle option and a new GMF loan or lease. Can you imagine a scenario? You total your car this morning. Tomorrow afternoon, a new vehicle is in your driveway and your claim is closed. I can. It can happen. Insurance love. We're up to 750 now. Let's keep going, folks. Come on. Now, while many of these things are possible because of our association with General Motors, we're still an insurance company, and we have to do all of the things a traditional insurance company must do. Our people, our systems, our processes and infrastructure must be able to do both of those things. Take advantage of those GM attributes, but do insurance very, very well. Because GM started this insurance company during the pandemic, we hired from across the country and let those folks work remotely. We've hired associates now in 30 states with experience from nearly 24 insurance companies. Scouring the country has allowed us to hire an incredibly talented, motivated, and diverse organization. Our leadership team, for example, 50% female, 42% professional of color, and 10% LGBT. Did I mention motivated? Yeah, I'll take a round of applause for that. It can be done. Did I mention a motivated team? This team wanted to do the impossible, launch an insurance company from scratch, nothing there, in under a year. That included building all the systems, hiring and training all the staff, creating the insurance product, filing the insurance product, and doing the 1,000 other little things it takes to be an insurance company. They believed they could do it. And they did it even faster. 9 months from start to go live. Absolutely incredible. So how did they do it? Teamwork. A continuous, unending sense of urgency and constant, constructive communication. Communication was at the center of all this. We met as a full senior leadership team every day for 15 minutes. 11 a.m. Eastern. Be there, be square. No issue could exist for more than 23 hours and 45 minutes. That was key. We also met with all the subteams as well. Issues were brought up every day, and they were worked. The team worked them with no ego, with no finger pointing. We were going to succeed as a team or fail as a team, and it worked. Now, the people, the OnStar team, were great. The process is great, but it wouldn't have worked without the right systems. Policy, billing, and claims, and the right systems integrator. When we looked at core systems providers, they had to meet a long list of criteria, included the expedited delivery that we were looking for, the ability to work in those two connected worlds, the OEM ecosystem as well as the insurance market, and the platform had to be modern, cloud-based. It couldn't get in the way of innovation, but it also had to support that. Guidewire said they could do that. Guidewire did that. They delivered not one, but all three systems, Policy Center, Billing Center, and Claim Center. Deloitte, our system integrator, said they could do it on our timeline, and they did it. It was awesome. We partnered with KPMG to integrate it into the GM Financial Oracle Cloud Accounting Hub, another phenomenal success. We chose Guidewire's cloud offering and implemented it from contract to go live in under 9 months, working with solution partners, working in the marketplace, with Deloitte, with KPMG, with other vendors. We saw zero friction, removing the friction, the power of this community, making orchestration easier and faster. It took that integrated community. Since launching in July, we've expanded into 2 more states, and we've already completed 2 seamless updates of the Guidewire platform over the weekend. We are not getting behind, and I truly appreciate that. And I didn't think about it when I talked about the GM zeros, but Guidewire has its own 3 zeros. This was at 0 cost, 0 downtime, and 0 pain. Guidewire has its own 3 zeros, just like GM. Now, we have plans for more states in 2024 and beyond as we bring this product offering to more and more drivers. I stand before you humbled by the performance of the OnStar Insurance team and what they've accomplished, what they're doing now, and what they're going to do in the future. The world is changing rapidly around us. The vehicles and people we insure are changing around us, and we must change with them. We must bring fairer insurance based on the actual risk. We must deliver a service that wows them, not just at claims experience, but each and every day in unique and delightful ways. That boy in Iraq 30 plus years ago has an obligation to deliver insurance love, to do better, to evolve insurance. We as an industry must challenge and push each other to do better. We can, we must, and I believe we will. I want to thank Guidewire for the opportunity to share my thoughts, and to each of you for listening. As OnStar says, be safe out there. Thank you.